Okay, let's dive right into this beautifully simple story. Today we're going through an explainer of a really moving little narrative called Rainy Day Bird Feed Blessings and Seeds. When we think about making a difference in the world, we usually picture these huge, grand gestures or massive initiatives, right? But the story we're looking at today, it totally flips that idea on its head. It strips kindness right down to the absolute basics, just focusing on a simple interaction between a little girl and the natural world around her. And as you'll see, it perfectly shows how a single, tiny choice can literally alter reality for everyone involved. So, what actually happens when the rain washes everything away? Picture this for a second. Imagine waking up on a freezing cold morning where just surviving suddenly becomes this massive struggle. For us, a rainy day usually just means grabbing an umbrella or maybe cozying up indoors with a warm cup of coffee. But out there in the wild, a heavy rainstorm is a huge disruption. It completely shifts the landscape, washes away vital resources, and leaves the animals that rely on those resources incredibly vulnerable. And that is exactly where our story kicks off. Part 1. A Gray and Rainy Scene. The story opens up in this really bleak setting. We're talking a cold, rainy morning, completely gray skies, and heavy, dripping trees. The natural food supply has been totally washed away. The author uses these super specific details, the biting cold, the grayness, the relentless dripping, to paint a picture of an environment that is just, well, hostile to life at that moment. It's definitely not just a passing shower. The storm has literally stripped away the fundamental needs of the local wildlife, leaving them with absolutely nothing. And for the tiny birds out there, this creates an immediate, full-blown crisis. They've been searching everywhere for food, burning up what little energy they have left in the cold. But the seeds, which are their absolute lifeline, have just been swept away by the rain. The results? They're left completely exhausted and starving. So they're just sitting there, totally quiet on these soaking wet branches. There's no cheerful chirping going on here. It's just this heavy silence in a moment of utter helplessness. They've done everything they can, and the environment has simply bested them. Part 2. One small act of kindness. Now here's where things shift. Kindness isn't just some fuzzy emotion. It's a deliberate choice. First, this little girl notices the hungry birds from her window. And that's so key, because empathy always starts with observation, just paying attention to someone else's struggle. Next, she fills a small bowl with birdseed. She sees the exact problem, which is hunger, and finds the fix. Finally, she places it in a sheltered corner of the garden. And this is a really crucial detail from the text. She didn't just toss the seed out into the rain where it would get washed away all over again. No, she intentionally found a safe, protected spot. It's a brilliant step-by-step approach to solving a very real problem. Part 3. Wisdom of the shared seed. Just look at the sensory contrast here. Before the seed, you've got this quiet, gray, miserable morning with birds huddled helplessly on wet branches. But then, watch what happens after. It is like night and day. That bleak environment is instantly transformed. Suddenly, the rainy air is filled with cheerful chirping as sparrows, pigeons, and all these colorful little birds flutter down to eat. The crazy thing is, the weather hasn't changed at all. It's still pouring rain, but the entire experience of the morning has completely flipped. With just one small bowl of seeds in a dry corner, she traded exhaustion for energy and silence for joyful life. As the girl is standing there, smiling at this amazing scene unfolding, her grandmother delivers this incredibly profound piece of wisdom. She says, "Every seed shared with a hungry bird becomes a blessing for the heart." And I want you to notice the direction of that blessing. Yes, obviously, the seed nourishes the hungry bird, but the actual act of sharing, that becomes a blessing for the heart of the giver. The grandmother hit the nail on the head here. She's pointing out this fundamental truth about compassion. The intervention didn't just save those birds from a hungry morning, it totally enriched the little girl's own emotional world too. Part 4. Growing countless blessings. When we zoom out and look at how this plays out over a timeline, we really get to see the full life cycle of a single act of kindness. We kicked off with the harsh reality of that freezing, rainy morning. Then came the intervention, the shared bowl. That immediately sparked the cheerful chirping, completely changing the atmosphere of the day. But honestly, the most incredible part is the lasting result. The story tells us that from that day on, even when it poured, the birds knew there was always a safe place waiting for them. What started as just a quick action on a gloomy morning evolved into a permanent guarantee of safety. She didn't just give them a meal, she gave them a sanctuary. She changed their relationship with their environment permanently. So, what does this all mean? Ultimately, this explainer distills down to one foundational takeaway. Kindness, no matter how small, grows into countless blessings. The seeds we share, whether we're talking literal birdseed or figurative acts of help and compassion in our daily lives, they multiply. One small bowl of seeds turned into a chorus of cheerful birds, a moment of pure joy for a little girl, a profound lesson from a grandmother, and a permanent safe haven for wildlife. It proves, absolutely, that the size of your initial gesture does not limit the scale of its impact. Knowing that even the smallest, most methodical acts can totally transform a bleak environment into a cheerful sanctuary, I want to leave you with this final thought to carry into your own life. What small seeds of kindness can you plant today? You don't have to change the whole world all at once. Seriously, you just need to notice a problem, fill a small bowl, and find a sheltered corner. Find your own version of that today. Thank you so much for walking through this beautifully simple explainer with me. Keep planting those seeds, and I'll catch you on the next one.